I call this meeting to order. Please rise and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Councilor Cano, would you please read our mission statement?
Silver City is the hub of an inclusive community settled within a small town that, through guided growth, honors and preserves its historical, cultural, and natural heritage while facilitating jobs, health, and educational resources such that the residents and visitors may enjoy and protect the recreational opportunities of the area and high quality of life.
Thank you. First item on the agenda is a proclamation. If anybody here to join me with the Give Grand New Mexico Day, please meet me at the podium. Whereas Silver City is a town blessed by numerous nonprofit organizations which provide invaluable services such as sheltering our homeless, feeding our hungry, and caring for our youth. And whereas Give Grand New Mexico Day, May 6, 2014, is the first community-wide giving event hosted by the Coalition of New Mexico Community Foundations, Community Foundation of Southern New Mexico, Albuquerque, Community Foundation, Santa Fe Community Foundation, New Mexico Community Foundation, Taos Community Foundation, and locally by the Grant County Community Foundation. Online at www.inforgivegrandnewmexico.org. And whereas Give Grand New Mexico Day shall grow the spirit of giving and raise as much money as possible for the nonprofits in the Silver City area, and whereas through the Coalition of New Mexico Community Foundations and its community partners, Give Grand New Mexico Day shall inspire the public to support our nonprofit organizations on this one day, May 6th. Now therefore, I, Michael S. Moronis, Mayor of the Town of Silver City, Grant County, New Mexico, do hereby proclaim May 6, 2014 as the first ever Give Grand New Mexico Day. And be it further proclaimed that for all citizens, it is the official day of providing financial support for all those causes that continue to move our town forward. Can I just take a photo? Thank you. Okay. Thank you so much. Sure.
May 6th is Give Grande New Mexico, the state's first online giving day to support our local nonprofit organizations like the Members Regional Arts Council that brings you the Blues Festival each Memorial Day weekend, Literacy Link Leemos, Life Quest Main Street, the Volunteers Center, and 35 more Grant County nonprofits that do so much to make Grant County great. Please show your support for nonprofits on May 6th. Visit our website at www.givegrandnm.org and give grande to the nonprofits of your choice. Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is public input. We have Pierre Burrows to talk about photo voter ID.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I've given each of you a copy of Albuquerque's of Albuquerque's election code. Since 2000, Albuquerque has required photo ID to vote. I will ask to be on the next meeting's agenda to formally request the council approve similar legislation in Silver City. I'm not doing this because I think there is voter fraud in Silver City. In fact, I don't know of any, have not heard of any. My request is motivated by three factors. Number one, at or near the top of the list of fundamental responsibilities of a democratic government must be ensuring the integrity of the voting system. This is a far more important function than building tennis courts, buying gas stations, or golf course clubhouses, and far cheaper too. You will notice that Albuquerque issues photo IDs without charge. Secondly, whether we like it or not, the history of America is also a history of stolen elections. A recent poll found 36% of the voting public thought voter fraud a serious issue. I would think that would be too high a number. 15% of the people thought it was a serious issue. Third, and most importantly, I'm told that it has been 8 years since our voter rolls have been audited for accuracy, which is called being purged. This is something that can only be done by the Secretary of the State of New Mexico. Now, 8 years encompasses both Democratic and Republican administration, indicates to me that something is not working right. Photo ID will not replace such a long overdue purging, but it will certainly remove the temptation to take advantage of that sorry fact. Finally, let me note that the Supreme Court upheld Indiana's photo ID law in 2008 by a 6-3 margin, the majority opinion being written by Justice John Paul Stevens, who grew up north of Chicago. I grew up just east of Chicago about the same time, and both the justice and I were around to see Mayor Daley deliver Illinois to JFK. He was on the money. Also, when he said that Indiana's ID requirements, and I quote him, do not qualify as a substantial burden on the right to vote or even represent a significant increase over the usual burdens of voting, unquote. As an aside, all 9 justices rejected the argument that photo ID laws disenfranchise voters. To that last point, let me quote the investigative reporter Jason Riley. There is no evidence that laws of this sort actually suppress the black vote. States like Indiana, Georgia, Tennessee have some of the strictest voter ID laws in the country. In those states last year, voter turnout exceeded white voter turnout. And he goes on to say, if Republicans are trying to suppress the black vote, they are doing a spectacularly bad job of it. So I would hope that you would consider the photo ID issue, free of the demagoguery and emotionalism that surrounds the issue, and I hope to see you in May.
Moving on to council comments. Councilor Bedson?
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to say that I did attend Earth Day down at Golf Park this past weekend on Saturday, and it was, I thought, really well attended, and I talked a little bit with is it Terry Timmy, about the fact that they were getting less large electronics than they have in the past. He said every year they've decreased because people know they can still take them down to, if they want to during the year, you can recycle your large electronics like monitors, computer monitors, things like that, by taking them to the landfill and using your address. So I thought it was really wonderful. Despite the rain, it seems that I guess 7 vendors couldn't come because of the rain. It really was a nice soaking rain. But everybody else there, they were selling out of their plants, and the kids were having a great time working with sort of what a stream table type thing, and just having a blast doing all sorts of things with that. And I also wanted to mention that coming up is this Saturday is Comcast Cares Day. It'll be from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Silver City Recreation Center, which is where the Members Region Arts Council will be putting up, asking you to help them with a mural that's going to go up there. So I encourage you to bring your children and to please come, because every individual that comes, there is a contribution from Comcast to the Members Region Arts Council, and that ensures that the youth mural program continues. So, thank you.
Councilor Amos Smith?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have had a wonderful time hiking this month at Grant County Trails Month. Gone on a couple of hikes, and I do want to remind everyone that this Wednesday at 4 o'clock at the Visitor Center, we will be proclaimed the first gateway community to the Continental Divide Trail. So come down and hang out, and I think there will be refreshments.
Councilor Ray? No comment. Councilor Kano?
No comment.
Anybody want round two? Councilor Bedison?
Thank you. I forgot to mention that next week is Tour de Gila.
Oh, yeah.
So, just everybody be careful out there on the road. There'll be a lot of riders, and there'll be a lot of events. So, just be mindful of that when you're out. And I just want to thank all of our agencies that work with the Tour de Gila to make that such a really wonderful event. And that will be on Saturday, May 3rd, is the Downtown Criterion. So, hope to see everybody down there. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Councilor Bedison. In that same light, with the, not only do we have an increase in bicyclists locally, but we are going to have a lot of visitors. And I would like to convey to everybody, be extra cautious, careful, drive the speed limit, be aware of your surroundings, be patient. Leave early when you're going to the office or shopping or whatever you're doing, and try to pay attention to those around us. Generally speaking, I would say most of the bicyclists do a good job of obeying the traffic laws like they should. But just like any group, there's percentages that don't. So when you're coming up to a right turn, don't just look left and take off. Take a little bit extra care. Look to the right. Make sure that there's not a bicyclist there coming the wrong way or whatever. And hopefully, and I'd like to convey the idea of understanding. Many motorists can be a little heated when there's bicyclists, whether it's being a burden to them. But in many cases, what drives a lot of us mad, and parents can empathize, when our kids are in danger, or if we feel like we're endangering somebody else's health and safety, we sometimes get a little heated, and we start to yell, and we start to take some inappropriate behavior. Just remember, the motorists, they don't want to hurt anybody, and clearly the bicyclists don't want to get hit by vehicles. So please be patient on both sides and obey the traffic laws, and be responsible. And with that, we'll move to approval of the minutes.
Mr. Mayor.
Councilor Bedison.
I move to approve the minutes of the Town Council regular meeting of April 8th, 2014, as submitted this evening with the corrections.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the regular meeting minutes of April 8th, 2014, as corrected. Any further discussion? We have a motion and a second to approve the regular meeting minutes of April 8th, 2014, as corrected. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next on the agenda is reports. Third quarter and visitor center report by Sissy McAndrew.
Thank you. And I'd also like to mention concerning the Continental Divide Trail dedication is we are hoping that our local citizens can park downtown and walk over the bridge. We are assuming that we're going to have a pretty full parking lot. Chief's going to be coming over tomorrow in the Streets Department, and we will be trying to get as many people into the parking lot as we can. But we do not want to have any traffic problems on Highway 90. So folks can park downtown and walk over. That would sure help us. Well, this is part of my job that I really enjoy because we get to share with you the results of what's been going on at the Visitors Center. And this is basically the report for January through March. And happy to report to you that things are continuing to improve. This is a graph you've tended to see every time I come here. This is a bar graph, and it's getting to be harder and harder to read. But I do have a couple other versions of this which I think simplify the data. But we're seeing trending-wise, we're pretty much, we're higher in the summer, we drop off in the fall, we're building in the winter, and that's what we'd like to see. One thing to see, January was very high compared to last year. That's due to the weather. And then we see February, we're doing much better. March, we're not really down that far, a little bit, but we continue to see more and more visitors. And this is giving us some great information as far as the number of visitors. We are getting a lot of people from Silver City, Grant County, which we're very pleased about. Folks coming in, some have just moved here, others have lived here in the past, but they're coming in to get information, to see the Visitors Center, and then they want to share it with their family and friends. There's been a lot of regional advertising, and I know George Julian Dorn will be at your next meeting to talk about what the Arts and Cultural District has been doing as far as marketing and advertising. But we do see a large percentage of people from the Southwest. Then also the rest of the United States. We had a lot of folks that wanted to come visit us this year, but due to the weather, they couldn't get away from where they lived. So we're anticipating they'll either come down next year, or we may even see them before that. And then Canada and international. We have seen a lot of international visitors especially through this most recent month here in April. And it's just absolutely wonderful. I'm going to share some data with you in a moment about how many nights people are staying here. And one of the things that we're seeing right now is people, more or less the folks that are coming in that are retirees, or even a lot of the touring Europeans are tending to rent RVs, or if it's Americans, they own RVs, or else some of the more adventurous are actually tent camping. So we know that the lodging may not be going up, but we're actually getting people that are telling us that they are spending more nights here. This is an interesting chart showing the top 10 states. And of course, we see there the influence of marketing in the regional New Mexico, Texas, Arizona, Colorado. California's always been a pretty good draw. And then we start getting into the Midwest, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and up into the Northwest, Washington, Alaska, Illinois, and then since I'm from Michigan, I have to mention that it's number 11. So this is showing us the number of nights stayed. And this is showing us, again, the 3 quarters. We see that the majority of people are actually staying one night. A lot of times I want to mention they may come in later in the day. They start hearing everything that we have for them to see, and they decide to stay. We also see that trickle down, and then we see a bump for people that are staying more than 7 days. So we're getting quite a few people, at least especially in the real estate market. Folks are coming and deciding to spend a month or 2 here to really get to know the community, which is exactly what we'd like to have. When people move here, we want them to know who we are. We want them to stay once they do move here. So, but you're seeing, again, that trending of the season where it's higher. The first quarter drops off second quarter, and then we're building back up in the third quarter. This is another trend that we really want to start utilizing, talking about visitors by day of the week. You'll notice Monday is very big, Wednesday, and Saturday. Now, Sunday's been something we've always talked about. Oh, we're a tourist town. Everybody, we should be open on Sunday. That is our lowest day of visitation. And we know that due to our culture, we have a very religious community, and we need to figure, do we really want to try to build Sunday up, or should we look at the other days of the week and try to really focus on those and continue to have Sunday as a quiet community day and accept that and really share that with visitors, that that's part of our culture. That's something that is up there for future discussion. The top 10 attractions, downtown is number 1. We then group the Gila into both the cliff dwellings, the National Forest, and those that just want to drive the National Scenic Trail, the Mountain Spirits. The museums, and I know the University Museum is up in visitation. We're still trying to get the data from the Silver City Museum, and we'll share that with you. But everybody, as far as tourism, is actually seeing that things are up. The galleries are still having a difficult time. A lot of our retail businesses are having a difficult time, and I'll talk to you about what we plan to do on that in the very near future. But you can see the rest of the information there. We're also seeing an increase in dining, and a lot of that has to do with the national recognitions that we're getting. Those go a long way. This is one that's no news to any of us. Word of mouth is the number one way that people hear about Silver City. We're getting a lot of people returning back, and sometimes it's actually very interesting for the hosts and the visitor center, because it's people that are coming back to research previous generations, and you get to hear a bunch of stories about the frontier days, and that's really, again, what our community is all about. Then you'll see the publications. We're also getting a lot of people that say they were just driving along I-10. They've always thought about taking the side trip up, and so they are. And then internet, and you can see the other items there. The employer and business trip, we're starting to see an increase in that again, and that really depends on when our different large industries are hiring. We get to have all of those folks happen to come into the visitor center or call up for more information on our community. This is an interesting one, talking about the types of publications. The travel guides are very, very strong. Magazines, we have these broken out basically. New Mexico Magazine, Sunset Magazine, both the county and Arts and Cultural District have advertised very heavily in Sunset Magazine. Then the New York Times article, you can see that's actually a really big chunk, that purple one at about 11 to 12 o'clock. And then brochures, which are out in the other visitor centers around the state. So we really, when we get those national articles that are no cost to us, such as this, Smithsonian, this was actually the online version. America's 20 Best Small Towns, we came in at number 18. In the print version of the magazine, they only printed the top 10 towns, and then in the sidebar, they listed the other communities, so we were listed there. As soon as this came out, we're letting folks know that they can now take us off their bucket list, because they have actually visited our town, and a lot of them are just loving it. If you'll notice the photos that are here, the way that we're being portrayed is exactly what we want. A lot of this is coming directly from discussion with the Arts and Cultural District. So we're talking about our community, the quality of our community, the small town. And here's another one. This is actually Peaks and Plains. It's the online magazine for Great Lakes Airlines. And Arts and Cultural District worked with them to put this piece in. And again, it's talking about our community, and people won't be disappointed, because this is really telling our story and who we are. This is one that I told you would actually be a little bit easier to see after we had all those other bar graphs. This one's helping us to see the growth by quarter, and we are seeing an increase in visitation. and this will help you understand the amount of visitation this year over last year. And then the total number of visitors over the last 3 years. Of course, we took over in August of 2012, and then we've continued to man the visitors 7 days a week. In the future, we'll actually let you know how many volunteer hours that is. We were even open on Easter. So short of pretty much New Year's Day and Christmas Day, we tend to be open all of the holidays as well. So that's a good growth. And this is just basically year-to-date. So we'll get back to you with the final numbers after June. And when we talk about the total number of visitors since we started operating the Visitor Center, 42,455 visitors. So we feel that we've really walked our talk. We've been resourceful in providing services to the town, and have been very proud in doing so. This past month here, we actually had a civic tourism workshop. First of all, we had a business roundtable. I'm sorry this is so dark. We had this at Diane's, and we invited the local merchants. We hand-delivered invitations to every single business downtown, and really wanted to start talking to those businesses. We know there's a better way to help them grow, and we want to listen to them, and we want to find answers and fill the gaps. We then had a brown bag lunch through the WILL program, which was followed up by a workshop session where we broke in and talked about community stories, and the group started deciding of how we could go and actually continue to market our community to make sure that we're keeping it with the values that we as a community want to have. And that's very, very important. We don't want to change who Silver City is. We want to have people come to visit us for who we are. And that's been a big concern with people as they see these articles in the national publications. They just want to be sure we don't turn into something that isn't what they love. And so I want to talk to you tonight about our future, because we really see a transition coming. The Arts and Cultural District would like to take over the operation of the Visitor Center and the fulfillment. And we feel that it's time for us to really listen to the community and to see what we can do to go ahead and, as I mentioned, fill the gaps. We will move to a downtown storefront. We will be promoting civic tourism. We will be working with the local merchants and really trying to find what we can do to help them succeed. And we will definitely continue to promote our Buy Local campaign. One thing that we realize, yes, tourism is a large industry here for our community, but if we don't have the locals buying local, these small businesses are going to have a hard time. And I've really been proud of a lot of local citizens when I hear them tell somebody, go next door and buy a gelato. And, well, I don't want a gelato, then just go buy a gift certificate. The Health Council is buying gift certificates, Main Street gift certificates, to thank people that are volunteering for them. The Women's Golf Association. This is a way that we're keeping those monies locally, and we're reducing the leakage outside of our community. Entrepreneurship is a key facet, and the Green Chamber is starting to work with the Aldo Leopold School, with Western New Mexico University. We've specifically helped one small business that had announced it was going to close its doors, and in less than an hour we basically discussed things with those folks, got them some counseling, and they are now operating in the black and expanding their hours again. This is what we really need to be doing to help the community. And the Investment Opportunities Network. We actually have a meeting coming up on Wednesday morning with Senator Heinrich. And what he's interested in is hearing about how is this Investment Opportunities Network, which is private funds being invested in small business, how is that operating? And how can that maybe be expanded to other parts of the state? Also very interested in the 4-county plan, the economic development that's going to be taking place through green jobs and energy efficiency. And a key factor tied into that is our Office of Sustainability, or as Councilor Amon Smith would like to call it, the Office of Saving You Money. So we have a lot that we can be doing that really will help the community move forward. We're really excited about it. And of course, it's all about building a sustainable economy. We're also going to be partnering some more, partnerships and collaborations. We've been in discussion with several different groups that we've worked with in the past. But one, we're just finishing up the 2014 Visitors and Relocation Guide. Wayfarer signs. This is something that Main Street had worked on, and I know Councilor Bettison, you had reviewed it, and now we don't know where it's at. So we're going to go find that, and that's kind of the "You Are Here" signs that we will have around town so that people can find their way around Silver City. Another is a parking sign. This would be something that would be over at the Visitor Center parking lot that would say parking for historic downtown, Silco Theater, whatever, but really to let people know here's the place to park and get them out and walk. Second Saturday. First Fridays we had last year, and that was a Main Street program. And what we started finding is people could not drive up from Cruces, from El Paso, from Tucson in time to get to some of those events. So we're going to promote a second Saturday. We'll be working with the Gallery Association on this. And again, just trying to promote people to come up and have a wonderful time, spend some money, go back and tell folks how great it was. Facade Squad, this is one of the Main Street programs, and we are going to be working with them to go ahead and complete a couple projects and then hopefully get some measurement in there. So maybe we're saying we'll do 1 or 2 facades a year. Through the Green Chamber, what we can do is we can help find money to get some of this done. We know it comes down to economics. We'll find a way of making it happen. And we are partnering again with it's now called the Southwest Chicano Music Association. We will be having Cinco de Mayo on May 4th downtown. The Chicano Music Festival will be Labor Day weekend in Golf Park. And then we're combining with the Southwest Chicano Music Association and Main Street on November 29th. We will have a Tamal Fiesta from 10 until 3. We will break down, and that evening will be the Lighted Christmas Parade. And then we're also working with another group of lodgers and other businesses that are trying to promote the Christmas shopping season. So we've got a lot that we can do. We're looking forward to it. And at this point, if you've got any questions, I'd love to field those. I want to mention that we did give you the new map pads are in town, and we partnered with the town of Silver City. They funded for the printing, and we funded for the design of the project. And also let you know, we also have new bike racks downtown, and the Green Chamber partnered with the city and the Grant County Health Council for those, because we felt we are seeing bikes tied to leaning against buildings or tied to railings. And so we've teamed up on that, and once again are meeting a city need.
Councilor Khanna?
I would just like to clarify, you just mentioned that the Southwest Chicano Music Association is the same thing as the Grand County Chicano Music Project. They are 2 separate entities. No. They are 2 separate groups, and it is not the same group that you worked with before. So that needs to be clarified. Thank you.
Right. No, it's a new group.
Councilor Bettison?
Thank you, Mayor. I just have a comment, too. Over the weekend, actually on Friday, I was contacted by a local merchant to ask if the University Museum was open, and I informed them that we were closed because we're closed on any university holiday, so it was spring holiday through Sunday. The individuals that had asked the question, actually stayed an extra night, Sunday night, so they could come visit the University Museum this morning. So, they were actually here to see the University Museum, period, and just happened to not know that we were closed on university holidays. So that's just a nice little anecdote that they actually stayed. I'm not sure if they had seen information in a publication or something like that, but I know today we had 20 people in that were not part of a group. They all came in separately, but they were running amok in the museum, looking at everything and peeking in as we were trying to get some things ready for tomorrow morning and next week, but peeking in rooms to see, oh, that's where their collections are. Oh, look, they're putting them in the big cases. So I think that's really good.
And I want to mention, we have had people that have come in specifically. I mean, they walk into the visitor center and they ask, where is the University Museum? That's what they're here for. And we love the fact, especially on a Monday, since the Silver City Museum is closed, that we can refer them up to the University Museum to get our prehistory information, and then they can follow up with the Silver City Museum the next day. The bookmarks are also wonderful because they have the members' collection, and for those that don't know what they're going to see, they ooh and ah the minute they see the bookmark. So it's working very well.
Great. Thank you.
Any other questions? Councilor Smith?
Can you clarify, did the Green Chamber get lodger's tax to run the visitor center? How did the Green Chamber?
No, lodger's tax actually goes through the Arts and Cultural District. There is a portion for fulfillment, and that it pays actually for mailings, for bulk mailing. And what we were able to do this last year, we had gone, because we really didn't know how much money would be used for bulk mailing. So each year there's $200 that's used for the bulk mail permit. And then we partner with the town of Silver City as far as the permit number. And we had put in enough money last year that we actually didn't need to use lodger's tax this year at all. And then there's a professional service contract that helps with the management of the visitor center. We also get money from Grant County because fulfillment is handled for them as well. And I think when George comes, we've been running some numbers on publications. We'll be able to start talking to you about return on investment for advertising dollars. But this year we really didn't get any lodger's tax money. We do have postcards for sale, and we also have a donations box. And but it's, when I talk resourceful, I mean we pretty much run on a very even low budget. It's volunteers, and management over the volunteers is how we run the visitor center.
Any other questions? Thanks, Sissy. Good job.
Thank you.
Next report is the Utility Department report. Mr. Esqueda?
Mayor and Council, I'd like to give you a brief overview of what the Utilities Department is all about, excuse me, and some of the stuff that we do on a daily basis. At the end, I'll also go over some of the projects that we got in the works that are coming up or that we already have received funding for. I'll start out with the administration. We have 3 personnel in that, myself, secretary, and assistant floodplain administrator. What we do is we do a lot of submission of reports to state and federal agencies. As far as the water, lead and copper rule, consumer confidence report, testing that we do on the water system, disinfection byproducts. Those are some of the stuff that we have to do for water. For wastewater, we have to submit land application for effluent, discharge monitoring reports, which is the main body of reporting for the operation of the wastewater treatment plant to make sure that we're in compliance with all the discharge requirements. Whole effluent toxicity testing on the effluent, DMR QA. We actually have to do quality assurance for our DMRs, where we have to test annually so that we can assure that we're meeting and we're able to meet the testing parameters that we have to do to meet our NPDES permitting requirements and our discharge permitting requirements through the state. We also, maintain water rights records and submit our monthly production totals to the Office of State Engineer. We operate 2 well fields, the Franks well field and the Woodward well field, and we also have a separate well by itself called the Gabby Hayes well, which we just recently drilled a replacement well for. We also submit and administer grants for the water, sewer, and wastewater treatment plant. We review new development requests for water and sewer. Some of the stuff are subdivisions, new commercial developments, such as the CVS pharmacy, which, us in the planning department are currently going over. We also process customer inquiries for new water and sewer for individual homes, what it takes to get water to a residence, and let them know the costs associated and what have you. We process customer complaints. We handle low, high water pressure, water leaks, water breaks, residential sewer backups, overflowing manholes, those type of things. We go out, we send the guys out to whatever calls that are coming in. We also schedule the utility crews on a daily basis. We schedule the projects that are coming up, what we need to do, what items are coming through. We also, of course, oversee the spending, the budget, ordering materials, things like that, requesting quotes, all that. And then, of course, we receive and process line locates, which is a big deal with the state, with the PRC, with the New Mexico excavation law, where anyone doing any type of digging is required to call for line locates. And then, of course, we, being the owner of the water and sewer facilities, we have to go out and locate those utilities. If we fail to properly locate them, or if we mislocate those facilities, we can now actually face penalties from the PRC. In the water division, we have 6 individuals. We have 4 individuals in the distribution side and 2 individuals in the wells production side. The 4 individuals in the distribution, they mainly do the installation and repair of water lines, service lines, valves, hydrants, and all those items on a daily basis. We also do flushing the water lines, mainly in the dead end areas, to make sure that that water isn't stagnant and we continually run that water through there. We also install new water taps. We perform the line locates on the water side, and we also address the water complaints, being the pressure problems, leaks, breaks, stuff like that. On the production side, for the wells, we have 2 crew. We do daily maintenance of all the wells, booster pumps, and pumping stations, the storage facilities, also. They do a lot of electrical and mechanical troubleshooting. Operation of the booster pumps and the wells, of course, is 100% electricity. That's what drives those motors. Every well has a motor, every booster pump has a motor. So there's a lot of having to have a good hands-on as far as the way the control panels work, contactors, fuses, stuff like that we can handle on our own, that we don't have to call in an electrician. We try and do as much as we can before we have to call in somebody else to do that work. Going back to the water distribution, on that side also, I know Peter talked about some of the road projects that he has planned or that they do. One of the things that the water distribution does as well is we go ahead whenever we know that there's a road project coming up and we have an opportunity to replace water line in that area, or even if there's conflict, we will take it upon the utilities department to replace either the water or even the sewer. We'll will make adjustments or make improvements prior to the paving of the new roads for two reasons. One, it saves on cost. If there's conflict, the contractor doesn't have to charge additional funds to lower or adjust those utilities. And then also it gives us an opportunity to go in, tear up the road before the new road goes in. As far as the production, again, we perform annually, quarterly, monthly sampling of the water system. There's a number of items throughout the year, monthly, quarterly, semi-annual, annually, and sometimes even every 2 to 3 years that we have to test for different constituents in the water coming into before it even reaches the system. So we do that, and that's a pretty big how would I say, a responsibility, because going back, you look at the town's water system, and I can't remember when the last time it was that we had any notice from the state that we were not in compliance for whether it be back T testing or anything like that. And if we were to fail that, of course, then they would issue the boil order water notices and all those type of things, and we just have not had that. So, that shows that the guys are doing a good job. They are staying on top of the testing and monitoring of the water system. They also maintain, as I said earlier, the storage tanks. That's a big issue. We got to make sure the tanks are operational and not deteriorating to the point where we have to come in and do emergency repairs. And also they monitor the wells, tanks, and booster stations with the use of the SCADA system. And of course, that's the remote monitoring through radio communication to the individual sites, where we can actually turn on and off pumps, booster stations through the use of a computer, or even we have gotten them iPad, so that they can, as they're on call, they can remotely monitor and also turn on and off, make adjustments, and what have you. As far as the sewer division, we have 4 individuals in that division. Their primary tasks are installing and repairing of sewer mains, installing service lines, maintaining lift stations, and making sure manholes are clear of any debris that may cause backups or what have you. They also perform the regular sewer maintenance by the use of the rodding machines. I'm sure you see a truck pulling a trailer. Well, that trailer is a machine that they use to go in and rod out the sewer mains, make sure that roots and stuff like that aren't intruding into the system and causing the sewer backups. Of course, they do sewer tap inspections, perform sewer line locates, and of course address sewer complaints, whether it be residents may experience slow draining sewer, sewer backups, overflowing manholes, stuff like that. The wastewater treatment plant, we have 5 employees down there. One of them is a lab tech that's strictly in the lab, just making, processing all the tests that we have to do. The daily tasks that they do, of course, is inspection of all operations, to include clarifiers, inflow pumps, aerators, UV system. They also do the maintenance on pumps, bar screens, grit chamber, drying beds, septic dump station, etc. We also do the hauling of the dried sludge to the landfill. We dispose of it locally at the local landfill. For several years, Phelps Dodge or Freeport, it was where the town used to dispose of the sludge that's generated by the wastewater treatment plant. They came, notified us that the NMED was no longer going to allow us or them to accept the sludge at their tailing sites. So what we were forced to do was actually have to haul the sludge all the way to Las Cruces to dispose of it. So we did that with our own staff, and we actually sent a truck every so often for a month at a time. We would have to haul all the way down to the landfill just located west of Las Cruces. Well, then we learned that the new landfill in Deming opened up, so then we started hauling to there. It's a lot shorter trip, less cost, fuel, and what have you to go there. And at the whole time, talking with Alex, working with the landfill, we finally got the local landfill permitted to accept the sludge. So now, just last year, we were able to start hauling the sludge locally and reduce that cost quite a bit for us. And one of the other things that we do is, of course, we do the monitoring of the effluent quality. We have to test for a number of items on a daily basis: temperature, suspended solids, biological oxygen demand, pH, dissolved oxygen, influent effluent flow rates, and all this stuff, of course, is items that we have to include in our discharge monitoring reports to the state and EPA. Now going to the current projects that we have going on. Of course, some of you guys are aware that we had the Black Hawk Sewer Project, which was up in Indian Hills, just south of Kane. We started that project in 2013. We ran into some issues with the contractor. We parted ways with him. He completed the work that he had initially started, and then we went out and rebid the project. So right now, we are just awaiting final word from the contractor so we can set up the pre-construction meeting, sign the contract, and get them working again and to complete that project. Last year, we submitted to the Colonias Infrastructure Project Fund, and we did get awarded for F Street sewer improvements. And on that one, we're at the point now where we're awaiting all we're waiting on is the grant agreement from the state. That way we can proceed with that project. Once we get the grant agreement, we'll complete the engineering and move forward with the project. For whatever reason, we're not sure. We found out that we were awarded the funds back in May, June of last year, and we're still awaiting the grant agreement. We're hoping that later this month, if not early May, that we will actually get the grant agreement, be able to sign it, send it back, and get the authorization to use funds. That one is, of course, a 100% grant, and the matching funds is a 10% requirement, but typically we apply the cost for engineering as our match. So that way, when we do get the funds, we apply it all towards construction. This year, we also applied for Colonias Infrastructure Funds for belt filter press at the wastewater treatment plant. Right now, we're awaiting a decision from the infrastructure board to see if we're going to get funds there again. Again, that's 100% grant, and we'll apply any engineering cost towards our match for that project. Just recently, we also submitted a project interest form, and that's a requirement from the NMED for potential projects to be included on a priority list. And that's part of the Clean Water State Revolving Loan Fund. And what we did there is we applied we submitted a project interest form for funding to do water system improvements in the Chihuahua Hill area. That one is 75-25% loan grant. So depending on the supplemental documents now that we need to submit, we may actually qualify for a 75% subsidy, so we'd only be responsible for 25%. That would be ideal. The second option that may happen is we may only qualify for a 0% interest loan, which is still good because you're not having to pay any interest on the money you borrow. So we'll see where we qualify on that when that comes out this year. And all, that's what I got. Any questions?
Any questions?
I have one question.
Councilor Ray.
Mr. Esqueda, I have a question for you or a comment. Do you know how many people utilize the dump station down there, the RVs?
The The septic dump station that's located at the wastewater treatment plant is used primarily and pretty much only by the septic haulers. It's not set up for them to specifically dump in that location. But right next to it, we have an old septic dump station that trailers or RVs can dump, but rarely do we get anybody down there. Usually it's maybe somebody that lives down in the Silver Acres area that's close by that can get to it easily. But it is there. The facility is there. It can be used, but I would say on an annual average, maybe 4 to 5 people.
Thank you. Councilor Smith?
Yeah, I was interested in that story of dumping the sludge, and just wondered if there's any potential project later to reuse the sludge for like composting or something like that.
We considered that back when we were having to haul the sludge all the way to Cruces, because of course that was expensive. One of the things is, of course, we had to do additional processing of the sludge, which of course, added to the cost of processing. But then too, we kind of thought, well, where's the demand for the sludge once you turn it into fertilizer? At the time, in the Gila Valley, there wasn't much farming going on. The next closest would be all the way down along the Rio Grande. But now you look at that and you see that you drive by Las Cruces, you see that the only water in the river is what's coming out of the wastewater treatment plant from Las Cruces. But, still farming is going on. But, as far as the demand, and then trying to get it to market it and have people come and even take it or purchase it, we just felt that was a little much, and we felt better off, being able just to dispose of it.
Thank you. So you just outlined a fabulous project for the Green Chamber Entrepreneurship Group to work with the university or the Aldo Leopold kids, which is really the demand, or even stimulating some demand. So I'll come see you.
Okay.
Thank you. I actually have a concern about the fact that we received we're awarded Colonias infrastructure funds in May, June of 2013, and yet we have yet to receive the grant agreement. And I thought that this had been taken care of. We had, the Municipal League Board of Directors had actually sent a letter to the Executive Director of the Municipal League about this very issue last fall, that they are not moving quickly with this.
No, and we're not the only community.
Right.
Some of the other local communities that have gotten funding are in the same position. They may have gotten their grant agreements last month, or still awaiting the grant agreements. So it's just the way the state is operating now. They continue to run their grant agreements through legal, and for whatever reasons, it's just delaying the process. And it's not just the Colonias infrastructure, CDBG, all of the other programs that are administered through DFA or that go through DFA are taking longer to get those grant agreements.
May I just tell you that at the newly elected officials meeting in March, the individual from DFA, and I forgot his name, but he was like the head guy, said, your Colonias agreements are in the mail. Yes, and Councilman Smith was there. So I would just say, our councilors are wondering who attended that, where they are, if it's been a year later. Anything that we can do, and I'll bring that up at the next Municipal League Board meeting, that there's still issues, because I know Taos was having issues last year. I know that we had issues. We didn't get in enough time. I just don't want them, after they've made awarded something like that, a year's gone by, and have they, did they just decide, well, we're not going to give it to you even though we awarded it to you? That's really, there's a process, and this particular administration is having more difficulty issuing grant agreements than prior administrations, and it could be because of the turnover in various offices, agencies for the state. But thank you for staying on it. You put all that work into it, and then it's like poof, you don't get what you need to get it going.
And that's a project that the utilities department really wants to get done because of the way that's sort of situated, the problems we have with it, the inaccessibility to bypass it and make it more, better operational and to avoid those issues that we have with that sort of line. We really want to get that done.
Off to the Municipal League Executive Director as well.
That would help.
Yeah, I'll do that. Thank you.
Any other questions? I'd just like to point out that, I hear very little of issues coming from this department, which is a credit considering your 18 staff is serving our 10,000 residents, our businesses in our community, and another 10,000 outside our community with water and sewer. So it's, you're doing a good job. And I know you probably hear the complaints, and it can't be easy. But I would say, from my perspective, your 18 staff have done a remarkable job. Thank you.
All right, thank you, guys.
Any other staff reports? Committee development? Chief? Beautiful. Everybody good to move on? Okay. Councilor Bedison.
Mr. Mayor, I move for a very short break.
We have a motion and a second for a short recess. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We are in recess. Call this meeting back to order. Next on the agenda is a public hearing entitled Approval, Disapproval of a Restaurant Liquor License Application Number 904159. Applicant Little Toad Creek LLC, doing business as, name to be used, Little Toad Creek Brewery and Distillery. Proposed location, 200 North Bullard Street, Silver City, New Mexico, 88061. The Town Council will serve as the hearing board, and I, as mayor, will be the presiding officer. Have any members of this hearing board had ex parte discussions with any person regarding the subject matter of this hearing, or had any communication from any party to this case?
No, sir.
You are all qualified. Will all parties and witnesses intending to testify, including those staff members who intend to present testimony or who will be available for questioning, please rise and come to the podium to be sworn in by the town clerk. If you have not been sworn, you will not be permitted to testify or otherwise participate in this hearing.
I, and state your name,
I, Teresa Dalberdine,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that the testimony I am about to give
that the testimony I am about to give
in this matter before this council
in this matter before this council
is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth,
is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth,
under penalty of perjury.
under penalty of perjury.
Thank you, and you have these signs.
The hearing will be conducted as follows. The applicant shall present their case. Next will come witnesses in support of applicant's case. The applicant's staff or witnesses may then be questioned by the hearing board. The presiding officer will then ask the applicant if that concludes his case in chief and states that the proponent and its witnesses will remain available to further questioning by the hearing board, by staff, or by opponents to the application. Following the close of the applicant's case, witnesses in opposition to the applicant's case shall be permitted to testify, during the course of which the witness may address questions to any previous witness, but such questions shall be made through the presiding officer. The presiding officer shall have the sole discretion in directing the question for response, considering whether the question is relevant, is cumulative to other testimony, or is otherwise inappropriate. At close of testimony against the application, the presiding officer asks the applicant, is there anything else you wish to be reflected in the record? Ms. Dalberdine, please present your case.
Thank you, Mayor and Councilors. My name is Teresa Dalberdine. I'm here representing Little Toad Creek LLC. asking you to approve our application for a restaurant liquor license, otherwise known as a beer and wine license. We have been in operation downtown Silver City at this location since December under our brewery and distillery tasting room licenses, also serving food. And we have determined in that time that our food sales, our restaurant is a major part of our business. About 60%, 62% of our sales right now are food. And a lot of people coming in the door are requesting wine with dinner, which is a very natural thing to do, being, with the restaurant being such a big part of our business. So we are asking for this restaurant license so that we can expand into wine. And we would like to present a New Mexico wine list from every corner of the state, and we're really excited about that, being able to share not only our local wineries from southwest New Mexico, but also some of the older wineries in the state near Albuquerque and Alamogordo, and some new wineries that are popping up all over northern New Mexico. So this would be a great opportunity for us to bring that to Silver City. So we request that you approve this license for us. Thank you.
Any questions?
No, sir.
Very quickly, so this is an expansion of what you already have, and you said generally from a wine standpoint?
Yes, the only reason, right now, under our brewer's license, we can serve New Mexico beer, and under our distiller's license, we can sell New Mexico spirits, including our own. We are not covered currently to serve wine, so this, under our restaurant license, which requires that we serve at least 60% food, we would be able to serve any beer and wine under that, but we're opting just to add wine, New Mexico wine, to our repertoire.
Okay. And no other question? Have to say it. Any witnesses in support of applicant's case? Hearing none. Does this conclude your case in chief?
Yes.
Any witnesses in opposition to this case? Ms. Dolbevine, is there anything else you wish to be reflected in the record?
No.
Does any member of the hearing board have any questions for any witnesses?
No, sir. No, sir.
Is the hearing board prepared to consider this application and render its decision?
Yes, yes.
How does the hearing board decide?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilor Ray.
I move to approve a restaurant liquor license application number 904159, applicant Little Toad Creek LLC, doing business name to be used, Little Toad Creek Brewery and Distillery, proposed location 200 North Bullard Street, Silver City, New Mexico, 88061.
Mr. Mayor, I second the motion as stated.
We have a motion and a second to approve of a restaurant liquor license application number 904159, applicant Little Toad Creek LLC, doing business as name to be used, Little Toad Creek Brewery and Distillery, proposed location 200 North Bullard Street, Silver City, New Mexico, 88061. Is there any further discussion?
No, sir.
We have a motion and a second, as already read into the record. Roll call.
Councilor Ray? Aye. Councilor Connell? Aye. Councilor Edison?
Aye.
Councilor Anderson?
Aye. Motion carries. This public hearing is concluded. Next item on the agenda is appointment to the cemetery board. We currently have the chair of the cemetery board expiring, and she has, well, the term expires. Apologize. And she has reapplied for the position. Any objection to reappointing Stacy Domino Mrazek?
No, sir. No, sir.
With no objections, she is appointed. Councilor Bedison.
Mr. Mayor, I move to adjourn.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We are adjourned.